is a way. If we think about that and if we defocus on myself, the woman can win compared with the man. This is not the saying we should always win the man. We should collaborate with each other and we live together.
Cop up,
But I mean that if we have the same member, we should contribute to that team. So to contribute to make a good contributions, we should search for our strong point. But normally, many of the organizations just think about that the men will be more better than woman. Actually, the some part men is more better. I agree with that. But some part woman can more easier and more natural. Natural ability. We should develop ours. In the time, Korea also received the ODA from the Philippines and other country. But we overcome this poverty, and then we can, according to the government policy, the Korean goal is to make increase in GDP. So to do that, we need our main power. That is the electricity. Because in that time is 1980 to 19. I'm not sure. But so the economy, how will we do using the social and science and technology, and then they distribute their R&D budget to each of the institution, research institution. Then each of the institutions can conducting the R&D to solve that problem. This process is the normal Korean government the style to operate many of the government research institutions. So just like this.
Hello, Professor.
Yes.
Again, really nice to meet you for this week. Last week, really, we had very attractive interview. Really, you tell us about your background, your biography. You mentioned a lot of things there. With this week, my first question is, I wanted to focus about higher education, the issue of education, your specialty area also. So could you tell us about Korean higher education and including Yomyang Graduate University? But I will give you the chance again for today. Last week, really, you were so busy. So I think that you didn't mention some question about the related to biography, maybe your career, what you most like or not like this kind of activities. So please, if you wanted to say something from last week interview, if is there any remaining point, you can start from that, and we will go to direct to this week's session.
First of all, I will introduce the Korean education, higher education, including our university. Normally, the Korea's powers come from the human resource. And as you already know that, compared with the other African countries, Korea have a very few natural resources. So to develop and to have the competition, Korea developed the human education. So nowadays, Korea focus on the big data and science technology and artificial intelligence because it is our own competition to compare with the other developed country. So many of the university, higher education adapt to the connect with the industry. If this knowledge is really adaptable to the industry and usable in the field. So Anyang Graduate University also saying our leadership program is focused on to raise the brilliant leader. To educate them, first of all, to understand of the industry is important. So, of course, we will teach about the leadership and the leadership theory and leadership skill. At the same time, our leadership program, the class is composed of the science technology.
Okay.
Take for example, we have many chances of the metaverse class and also the statistics analysis class.
Okay.
And also we have another programs within the Harvard Business Review and or the articles, because when we have a chance to reading that article and Harvard Business Review and other very professionals magazine, we will cultivate our ability to analyze that. So these days, so many different and variety of the information is prevalent. So among them, we should catch out what is the real fact or not.
Okay.
And we should analyze that what is the useful information to us. Because these days, so many information flew together using the computer and mobile system and other newspaper.
Okay.
But in there are first news
Okay.
existence. So we should practice what is wrong and what is the fault and what is the truth. So leadership and the social science and analysis and science technology.
Yeah.
These four keyword is our Anyang Graduate University's class talking. And what is the other question?
Yeah. Last question was, from the previous your profile area. Do you have any remaining point? For example, being a female, have you faced any challenge?
Yeah. Of course. Actually, before I become the professor, I'm the government organization researcher.
Okay.
So in that time, and also I'm one of the researcher in the transportation technology.
Okay.
So that field is the main field actually. The transportation and constructions, administration. That I belong to that the field.
Okay.
I'm one of the researchers. So in that field, there are so many challenges to compete with the man. And also that field is the man original traditional man field.
Okay.
So to survive in that the field, I need another ability. And so I think about that. What is my strong point and compare with the man?
Okay.
What is my good point? So think about that. Compare with the other men researcher, sexual. I mean the man is the sexual differentiation.
Yeah.
My good point is that my conversation is more convenient, more comfort to other people. And also my major is that business administration and management of technology. And my research topic is that technology transfer. So using the transportation research, I persuade other people, other researchers or other CEO and other the abroad government.
Okay.
This new technology is very important and useful to overcome this your society problem. So in that research organization, my role is to start the technology. So to compete with the men researchers, I'm focused on myself and I find out what is my strong point to compare with the men. So I find out that my best work is 50-30 communication.
Yes.
So just like this, there is a way. If we think about that and if we defocus on myself, the woman can win compared with the man. This is not the saying we should always win the man. We should collaborate with each other and we live together.
Cop up,
But I mean that if we have the same member, we should contribute to that team. So to contribute to make a good contributions, we should search for our strong point. But normally, many of the organizations just think about that the men will be more better than woman. Actually, the some part men is more better. I agree with that. But some part woman can more easier and more natural. Ability. We should develop our natural brilliant ability. Then we don't need to compete with the man. We can just we can live together with the man. So we are not competitors. We are the co-workers and we are the friend. We are the family.
Okay. Professor, sometimes I agree with all points. Some women, we know that some women are very strong, competitive and so on. But sometimes some women also, when they see such kind of challenge, they are not strong enough to tackle that kind of obstacle. So what do you advise for them, for some women, from your experience, what they do when this kind of challenge happen in their life?
I really well understand what you mean. Until now, I meet that kind of the woman and that kind of a person. But important thing is that only the person who have one perspective cannot sustainable long. So if we want to longer and longer work and live together, then we should have a variety of perspectives. Sometimes we should show up to the strong perspective, strong position, we should show up the strong power to someone. But some other point, some others atmosphere, some other perspective, we should show to the other people's very just like servant leadership, very convenient and helpful and supportive. So we should have a vice versa perspective and behavior, because only have the one perspective we cannot long survive. So think about that. The Galapagos, the forest. In that forest, only the animals who that survive is that they do not adopt. They just follow the atmosphere. They just adapt to their state. They just changeable themselves and can survive. So human is the same. We should, according to the situation and according to the atmosphere, we should changeable. That is the leader, and also that is the best person to survive in the long run.
Okay, Professor, I have also one question. According to the research and development, I read from some books also. I know about Korean technology area. So, if I don't mistaken, at the beginning, Samsung, LG, just Korean companies, you know that at the beginning there was a gap, there was a problem.
Yeah.
But I read that, to bring that impact, even the Korean government gives priority for research and development. That companies, they study a lot, what people need and so on. So now at times, Korean product, even if Samsung product, is everywhere in the top position. Even if in US Palace, everywhere, priority Samsung product. So I heard that at the beginning they give priority for research and development. Professor, what is the impact of research for development? Could you
Okay.
your subject area also, yeah.
Actually, the first time now the electronic Samsung is not the electronic company. The first time that is just to sell the price.
Okay.
Grocery.
Okay.
But after the next generations, the CEO changeable. The Igoni, one of the Samsung, the previous CEO,
Okay.
he think about that the time is changed and the first times Korea have difficulty to some of the meal. In that time also Korea is very poor country. So in that time Korea also received the ODA from the Philippines and other country.
Okay.
But we overcome this poverty and then we can according to the government policy the Korean goal
Okay.
is to make increase in GDP. So to do that,
Okay.
we need our main power. That is the electronic.
Okay.
Because in that time is 1980 to 19.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but so the Igoni, the prior CEO, think about that the Samsung should be changed. So then, what is the main selling point?
Yeah.
Electronic. So in that point, Samsung developed the electronic devices, but there's no technology inside of the Samsung company. So in that time, government supported to raise the Samsung company. So in Korea, almost 10% or from the 5% and 10% among the GDP.
Okay. Continue.
Samsung, the Korean government make a budget, R&D budget, R&D expenditure. So whole the GDP, whole the year's budget, from 5 to 10% is that the R&D expenditure.
Okay.
So among that R&D expenditure, the government give it to the Samsung company. So using that money, Samsung developed their high technology. First time is the mobile phone. CDMA. CDMA is the first technology in Samsung. But no one can develop. How can develop the CDMA technology? So the government asked the maybe German company to teaching the CDMA technology. So that is the first step to Samsung become a global company.
Okay.
So the first step, government support is needed. The financial support and also the research support. So in that time, in Korea, no one can develop the CDMA technology. So government first said the German technician. So they many of the German CDMA researchers visited Korea and they teaching to the Samsung technicians how can develop CDMA technology. And then using that knowledge, they develop their own stuff. More and more, they follow that the Apples and others companies, more BlackBerry's technology. They just follow.
Okay.
And times flow, they create the idea. First time they just follow, they just imitate, just like nowadays China. But on some point, they just after the market is
analysis
decided,
decides that. Okay.
Then market is set. Then they suggest the new product, new technology. So nowadays Samsung can be the foldable phone is maybe first devices in the mobile market.
Yes.
So to become the global company, it took so many times, 10 years more, 20 years more time.
Yeah.
But the first step is that government support is needed to become a global company.
Yeah.
And then they should keep trying to develop their own research development.
Okay.
Actually, R&D is very important to develop, to promote new device, new technology. Always R&D is needed.
Yeah.
So if the company earn many of the money, then the 20 or 30 percentage their income should return to the R&D expenditure.
Yeah.
That is the I think the key success to become a Samsung can be a global company. LG also the same. LG is famous their TV screen AMOLED LCD.
Yeah.
Also they same. So many times they struggle R&D, and then they can be the global first LCD monitoring company.
Yeah.
So it will be not easy, but using the government support to normal R&D budget,
incentives,
and also the tax,
different incentives.
tax refund more. Just like this, the government should help to the company because to become the global company, then that company can make the job market. So that is a return. Then and it becomes their peoples can become the global research people, and also their economy will be developed.
Wow, it's great, Professor. If we mention these technologies, high-tech technologies, Korea is exemplary. High-tech technology, it makes life easy. In television advertisement, really, in my home, I have seen so many things. Professor, if we touch this issue, high-tech technologies, please could you give us some highlights? Maybe you can use in your home also. Today nowadays, according to car and through our home, we use different kinds of devices, high-tech devices. Could you mention us, what you impress, different kinds of high-tech technologies, what you explain, such high-tech technology, what you use in home, when you visit such areas, companies, or what kind of high-tech, new brand items available in Korea now?
Actually these days the convergence technology is very useful to in the whole world, especially maybe the metaverse will be new to the African, but these days the YouTube and any other channel is developed. So metaverse platform, actually that is not the technology, that is a convergence technology. But metaverse
is it possible to explain a little bit here?
Very influence for the future, because as you already know that due to the pandemic situation, we cannot contact each other, we cannot directly we cannot meet each other.
Yes.
So near the future, the artificial intelligence and also the artificial intelligence
Yes.
and 인공지능뿐만 아니고 저기 혼합 현실, 가상 현실, virtual reality. Virtual reality will be very useful technology these days and for the future. Because think about that. We cannot meet each other, but in the online platform, we just like using the avatar, we cannot meet. We can meet each other. We can conversation and we can travel whole the world. This technology developed these days. So, take for example Gepetto. Gepetto is one of the metaverse platform and more Decentraland and us too. So many metaverse platform is development and many of people make their own avatar and participate to meet each other and also the many of industry participate that to build their own company and own their conference meeting. So for the future, in my thinking, virtual reality will be very useful and famous technology.
Okay, it's great. Professor, my last question for this session, for this week. We already mentioned that about research institute and so on. I know that Korea has big research institute. Last time in our class, there was a workshop. We have a chance to see the president of that Korean Research Institute. So my question is, how do you explain Korean research institutes for Korean development? The Korean government, how use that kind of research institute for development? Just what?
Actually, to development of something, there are public sector and in private sector.
Okay.
When you think of the company only development useful R&D because their purpose is to earn money. But when we look around there are many public sector. Think about the transportation or the weather problem. These days, due to the weather is warmer and warmer, whole the world have a difficulty. So to solve this problem, government should choose the public sector's R&D. So using the R&D funding, raising the R&D funding, each of the social problem, the government should solve each of the social problem. So in Korea, there are variety of different style of the government R&D institution, energy, transportations, and weather, and or the industry, and new technology. So many different type of the R&D institution. So the government role is that discover what is the social problem in these days and in our country, and then they set the goal to solve this social phenomenon, social problem. What will we do? How will we do using the social and science and technology? And then they distribute their R&D budget to each of the institution, research institution. Then each of the institutions can conducting the R&D to solve that problem. This process is the normal Korean government the style to operate many of the government research institutions. So just like this, many of the developing country should try to discover that what is the problem in your country, and using that problem, the government should have set the goal and the role. Then maybe many difficulty and many problem can solve on their staff.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. For this week session, let us finish here, and next week we will try have one last session. Okay, so really again, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
I appreciate your presence, your dialogue, for your great interview, Professor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.